In the 1950s, Ford launched a car so disastrously that it lost the equivalent of billions of dollars today. It was a failure so epic it became a legend, and it's not alone, because some cars are just that bad. But then there's a special few that are so memorably awful, so disastrous, that they fail their way right into the history books. Today, we are counting down 10 cars that prove that sometimes the path to immortality is paved with bad ideas. You'll meet the car whose grille was famously compared to a toilet seat, the plastic vehicle that became a symbol for a collapsed government, and the SUV so ugly it was handpicked to be a TV star. This is the Hall of Fame for automotive infamy. Kicking off our list is less of a car and more of a motorized park bench. The vehicle best known for this is the Briggs & Stratton Flyer, also known as the Auto Redbug. It is what happens when you strip the idea of a car down to its absolute essentials and then strip it down some more. This little machine from the early 1920s had a wooden frame, 5 wheels, 1 for driving, 4 for rolling, and 0 bodywork, no suspension, and brakes that were, well, optimistic at best. It was powered by a tiny Briggs & Stratton motor attached directly to a 5th wheel at the back. To disengage the clutch, you literally lifted the whole motor wheel off the ground with a lever. This wasn't a corporate project like we think of today. It was a bare-bones machine designed to be the absolute cheapest power transport that you could buy. With a blistering top speed of around 25 miles per hour, the Flyer was a hilarious dead end. Its failure wasn't in sales, it was a conceptual failure. It proved that people wanted, actual car features like a roof or doors or a shred of dignity. It's famous today as a reminder of how gloriously basic the automobile once was. Imagine a car designer saw a plastic lunchbox and said, "That's it. That is the future." The result would probably be the Reva G-Wiz. This tiny Indian-made electric vehicle was a common sight in London, mainly because it was exempt from the city's congestion charge, but it quickly earned a reputation for being terrifyingly flimsy and dangerously slow. See, here's the catch. In the UK, the G-Wiz wasn't legally classified as a car, it was a heavy quadricycle. This meant it didn't have to pass the same safety tests as a real car, which was pretty obvious to anyone who looked at it. The G-Wiz became a rolling joke, a symbol of good eco-intentions gone horribly wrong. Its fame was sealed when the TV show Top Gear featured it, highlighting its snail pace and questionable build. While the show's crash sequence was for entertainment, it visualized what everyone suspected. The G-Wiz was less of a car and more of a habitable appliance. It failed as a car but succeeded as a legendary punchline. There are ugly cars, and then there's the SsangYong Rodius. This South Korean MPV is a vehicle that truly asks, what is beauty anyway? It looks like it was designed by 2 different teams who never actually met. The front is a generic if slightly awkward minivan. The back, though, is a bizarre tacked-on greenhouse that looks like an observation deck from a budget cruise ship. The goal was a huge luxurious people hauler, but the execution was so jarring it landed on worst-looking car lists worldwide. To make things even more confusing, the Rodius used engines and transmissions licensed from Mercedes-Benz, which were known for their reliability. This mismatch of solid engineering and baffling style was just, well, baffling. The Rodius failed to win over buyers who, it turns out, prefer their cars not to look like they've been in a serious architectural accident. It's now famous for one thing and one thing only, being monumentally ugly. What do you get when you cross a retro hot rod, a pickup truck, and a convertible? A very confused car, and even more confused customers. You get the Chevrolet SSR, or Supersport Roadster. On paper, it sounded fun, a 2-seat roadster with a retractable hardtop and a usable truck bed. It was a flashy throwback to classic 50s Chevy pickups. The problem, it didn't do any one thing well. As a truck, its bed was too small. As a sports car, it was way too heavy and clumsy. As a convertible, it was an expensive 2-seat toy. It tried to be everything to everyone and ended up being for, well, almost no one. GM had hoped for a halo car to bring excitement to Chevy, but sales were a disaster, with just over 24,000 units sold over its 4-year run. The SSR failed because it was a brilliant answer to a question that nobody was asking. Today, it is famous as the muscle-bound platypus of the automotive world. In the early 80s, Cadillac was getting nervous about smaller, efficient luxury cars from Europe. Their brilliant solution? Take a humble Chevrolet Cavalier, add some leather, stick Cadillac badges on it, and jack up the price. The result was the Cadillac Cimarron, one of the most cynical, brand-damaging cars ever made. This was the poster child for badge engineering gone wrong. Buyers saw right through it. They knew they were being asked to pay a Cadillac premium for a dressed-up economy car, and they felt insulted. While there were some engineering tweaks like a tuned suspension, it wasn't enough to hide its humble origins. Sales were a fraction of what Cadillac projected, but the real damage was to the brand's prestige. Cimarron told the world that the standard of the world was willing to cut corners. It was a colossal failure that took Cadillac years to recover from, and it's now a textbook example of how to tick off your customers and tarnish a legendary name. A car with 3 wheels is automatically quirky, but the Reliant Robin took that quirkiness and became a cultural icon. This British legend is famous for one thing above all: tipping over. With its single wheel at the front, the Robin had a reputation for being unstable in corners if you drove it with a bit too much, well, let's call it enthusiasm. This flaw, heavily exaggerated for comedic effect on shows like Top Gear, made it a legend. Seeing one inevitably roll onto its side became a running gag. In reality, it wasn't quite the death trap TV made it out to be, but the reputation stuck. It wasn't fast or fancy, it was just cheap, simple transportation. Yet it failed at the most basic job of any vehicle: staying upright. And in that epic failure, it became one of the most beloved automotive jokes in the world. If a car could embody a political system, it would be the Trabant. Produced in East Germany for nearly 30 years with only minor changes, the Trabi was a rolling relic of a centrally planned economy. It was famous for its body, made not of steel, which was scarce, but of a material called duroplast, a hard plastic made from cotton waste and resins. Its engine was an ancient, smoky 2-stroke motor that was loud, slow, and trailed a cloud of foul-smelling blue smoke. If you wanted a new one, you might have to wait on a list for over a decade. When the Berlin Wall fell, the Trabant became a powerful symbol. Thousands of them poured into West Germany, a slow, smoky parade representing a collapsed ideology. It was a terrible car by nearly every measure, but its story is so deeply tied to modern history that it has become an absolute icon. It is remembered today with a strange mix of nostalgia and disbelief, a famous failure that tells a story that no other car can. Few cars have flown so close to the sun only to crash and burn like the Chrysler PT Cruiser. When it launched for the 2001 model year, it was a smash hit. Its unique 1930s-inspired retro design won awards and turned heads. It was cool, different, and for a hot minute, it was the car to have. But then Chrysler just let it coast. While the car did get updates, including a convertible version and a 2006 facelift, the basic design and engineering were left to stagnate for a decade. As the years went by, cool and retro slowly curdled into dated and tacky. The PT Cruiser became a punchline, often associated with questionable taste like stick-on wood paneling or flame decals. Its journey from an award-winning trendsetter to a rolling meme is what makes it such a famous failure. It failed to evolve, and by doing so, became a legend of expired coolness. When you talk about famous failures, one name pretty much says it all: Edsel. In 1957, Ford launched the Edsel brand as its revolutionary new mid-range car, hyping it up with one of the biggest ad campaigns in history. America was told that this car was the future, and then they actually saw it. The Edsel's most talked about feature was its vertical front grille, which critics immediately compared to a toilet seat or an Oldsmobile sucking a lemon. The styling was divisive, the name was unpopular, and early models were riddled with quality problems. It was the perfect storm of failure, introduced right as a recession hit and people started wanting smaller cars. Ford lost an estimated $250 million, a staggering sum for the 1950s that would be billions today. After just 3 model years, the plug was pulled. The Edsel wasn't just a failed car, it was a marketing catastrophe so epic that its name became a synonym for commercial failure. And here it is, the undisputed king of glorious failure, the Pontiac Aztek. Seemingly designed by a committee that hated cars, the Aztek was meant to be the ultimate vehicle for an active lifestyle. It was a crossover that tried to be a rugged, sporty, practical SUV. It even came with an optional pop-up tent and a built-in cooler. The problem? It's widely considered one of the ugliest cars ever made. With its layers of gray plastic cladding, disjointed lines, and a shape like a minivan that lost a fight with a shipping container, it was a visual train wreck. Sales were abysmal, and the car became a symbol of everything wrong with GM at the time. But then, something amazing happened. The Aztek was so uniquely ugly that it became iconic. Its fame was cemented forever when it was chosen as the car for Walter White in the TV show Breaking Bad. The show's creator, Vince Gilligan, handpicked the car specifically for its beaten-down, pathetic image to reflect the main character's life. In doing so, he accidentally elevated the Aztek from a punchline to a cultural landmark. It failed at being a car people wanted to buy, but it succeeded spectacularly at being a car nobody could ever forget. From a motorized bench to a rolling tent, these 10 cars prove that sometimes the path to immortality is paved with bad ideas, questionable styling, and spectacular failure. They are the punchlines, the cautionary tales, and the legends of the automotive world. They aimed for greatness and missed so badly, they landed somewhere even more interesting: fame. So what do you think? What legendary failure did we miss? Is there a car so awful it deserves a spot in the Hall of Infamy? Let us know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed celebrating these glorious disasters, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more dives into automotive history. Thanks for watching.